Episode 4. The Intellectual Dimension, the Mind Unleashed. The 7D Creator, Rising, Creating, Evolving. The Mind Unleashed. The Intellectual Dimension, where ideas are born and wisdom is built. The Creator's greatest gift. Welcome back to the 7D Creator. I want to start today with a celebration. Not of any achievement or milestone, a celebration of something you carry with you everywhere you go, that you use every single day, that is so fundamental to your existence that you probably never stop to marvel at it, your mind. The extraordinary, complex, endlessly surprising human mind, the thing that takes a sensation, a color, a sound, a smell, a feeling, and turns it into meaning. That takes information and transforms it into understanding. That takes experience and distills it into wisdom. That takes what is and imagines what could be. Your mind, the creative mind specifically, is one of the most remarkable things in the known universe. And most of us treat it like a search engine, an information retrieval system, a problem-solving machine. But the mind of a 7D creator is so much more than that. It is a library, a laboratory, a landscape of infinite possibility. It is the place where every creation begins, long before it takes any physical form in the world. It is the dimension where your ideas are born, nurtured, refined, and prepared for their journey out into the world. Today we go into the intellectual dimension. And I want you to leave this episode with a completely new relationship with your own mind. Because when a creator truly understands the power of their intellectual dimension, nothing is ever small again. The intellectually alive creator. There is a version of intellectual life that most people are living, and a version that most people have never experienced. The first version, the common one, is reactive. Information comes in and the mind processes it just enough to respond or move on. Scrolling, consuming, reacting, opinion forming. This version of intellectual life is busy but not deep, wide but not wise, full of information but hungry for meaning. The second version, the version of the intellectually alive creator, is different in character. It is curious, generative, connective. It does not just receive information, it interrogates it. It does not just consume ideas, it plays with them, combines them, tests them against experience, and eventually creates something new from them. The intellectually alive creator reads widely, not just in their field, but across fields. Because the most creative ideas rarely come from within a discipline. They come from the edges of disciplines, from the collisions between seemingly unrelated domains of knowledge. The musician who studies mathematics, the farmer who reads philosophy, the entrepreneur who devours poetry. These are the creators who make unexpected connections that produce genuinely original work. The intellectually alive creator asks questions, not just for answers, but for the quality of thinking that the question itself generates. They understand that a great question is more valuable than a quick answer, because a great question opens a space for genuine exploration, a quick answer closes it. And the intellectually alive creator is humble about what they do not know. They approach every new domain with beginner's mind, open, curious, willing to be wrong. Because the creator who already knows everything can make nothing new. Curiosity is the engine of the intellectual dimension. And curiosity is, at its heart, a form of love, a love of the world and its inexhaustible complexity. The story of the creator who stopped learning. Let me tell you a story about what happens when the intellectual dimension goes quiet. There was a creator who was genuinely brilliant in their field. They had built their creative work on a deep foundation of knowledge, skill, and expertise. People came to them because they knew things. The work was excellent. The reputation was earned. And somewhere in the success, the learning stopped. Not deliberately, not with a decision. It crept in through the busyness. The creator was so busy doing the work, producing the content, serving the audience, that there was no time left for the thing that had made the work excellent in the first place. The reading, the questioning, the exploring, the wandering through ideas with no particular destination. The work continued, but over time, subtly, then more noticeably, something changed. The ideas became less fresh. The perspectives became more predictable. The content became a variation on content they had already made. Because the intellectual well was no longer being refilled, only emptied. And the audience felt it. Not immediately, but eventually. The comments that used to say this changed how I see everything became this is good content. And the creator, who remembered what it felt like to produce work that genuinely moved people, knew something had been lost. The thing that had been lost was intellectual aliveness, the continuous feeding of the creative mind with new ideas, new questions, new perspectives, new challenges to what was already known. The return, when it came, began with one book read for pleasure, with no productive agenda. Just curiosity, just love of ideas for their own sake. And from that one book, 3 new ideas. From those 3 ideas, one piece of content unlike anything the creator had made before. From that one piece of content, the most meaningful response they had received in years. The intellectual dimension, when nourished, repays every investment 1,000 times over. How the 7D creator nourishes their intellectual dimension. Let me give you 5 practices for the intellectually alive creator. Practice 1. Read across boundaries. Read outside your field. If you are a spiritual creator, read about science. If you are a business creator, read literature. If you are a health creator, read history. The connections that emerge from cross-disciplinary reading are the raw material of genuinely original creative thinking. Aim to always have 2 books on the go, one in your domain and one completely outside it. The conversation between those 2 books in your mind is where unexpected ideas are born. Practice 2. Protect your deep thinking. Time. Deep thinking, the kind that produces genuinely new ideas, requires uninterrupted time, not the scattered thinking of a phone-checked, notification-interrupted day. Blocks of time where you can follow a single thread of thought wherever it leads without being pulled away. This is increasingly rare, which means it is increasingly valuable. The creator who protects their deep thinking time has a competitive advantage that no amount of social media strategy can replicate. Practice 3. Keep an idea notebook. Ideas are shy. They arrive without announcement and leave without warning. The creator who captures them in a notebook, a voice memo, a note on their phone, anywhere, accumulates a treasury of raw creative material. The creator who does not capture them loses most of them. Keep an idea notebook. Record everything, even the ideas that seem small or half-formed. The best ideas often begin as fragments. They need time and nurturing before they show their full shape. Practice 4. Teach what you know. The act of teaching something forces a depth of understanding that learning alone cannot achieve. When you explain an idea to another person, especially someone encountering it for the first time, you discover where your understanding is solid and where it has gaps. Those gaps, when filled, make you more knowledgeable than the learning alone ever could. Create content that teaches. Write, speak, explain. Every act of intellectual teaching strengthens your intellectual foundation. Practice 5. Embrace not knowing. The most intellectually alive creators are not the ones who have all the answers. They are the ones who have the most interesting questions. They are comfortable saying, I do not know yet. I am still figuring this out. Help me think through this. That intellectual humility, that willingness to be in the process of knowing rather than in the performance of already knowing, is what makes a creator trustworthy, authentic, and endlessly interesting to the people who follow them. Part 4. The interconnection. How the intellectual dimension feeds all the others. The intellectual dimension is the connector, the dimension that makes meaning of all the others. When your spiritual dimension gives you a purpose, it is your intellectual dimension that helps you understand that purpose deeply enough to express it clearly to others. Spirituality provides the fire. Intellect provides the language for the fire. When your occupational dimension gives you a calling, it is your intellectual dimension that helps you build the skills, knowledge, and expertise to fulfill that calling at the highest possible level. The calling provides the direction. The intellect provides the capability. When your physical dimension gives you a body to work with, it is your intellectual dimension that helps you understand how that body works, what it needs, and how to care for it intelligently. Knowledge transforms well-being from guesswork into wisdom. When your social dimension gives you a community, it is your intellectual dimension that helps you serve that community with substance, not just warmth and connection, though those are essential, but ideas, insights, and knowledge that genuinely improve their lives. When your environmental dimension places you in the world, it is your intellectual dimension that helps you understand that world, the systems, the ecology, the interconnections between human activity and natural consequence. Intellectual understanding transforms environmental concern from emotional response into informed, effective action. And when your emotional dimension gives you depth of feeling, it is your intellectual dimension that helps you process, understand, and eventually express those feelings in ways that others can receive and be helped by. Emotion without intellect is raw experience. Emotion with intellect becomes art, wisdom, and healing. The intellectual dimension is the translator of all the other dimensions, the dimension that turns experience into understanding and understanding into creation. Part 5. The creator who keeps growing. I want to speak to the creator who feels like they have nothing new to say. Maybe you have been creating for years. Maybe you have covered your topic from every angle. Maybe you feel like everything has been said and everything has been made, and there is nothing left for you specifically to contribute. I want to challenge that feeling directly. You have never said what you know right now. With the specific combination of experiences, wounds, growth, and understanding that you carry today, yesterday's version of you could not have said it. The version of you from 5 years ago did not know it. Only this version of you, shaped by everything you have lived and learned and created and survived, can say it. The intellectual dimension is never exhausted because the creator is never finished growing. Every new experience is new material. Every new challenge is new insight. Every new connection you make between seemingly unrelated ideas is a new creation that has never existed before. You are not out of things to say. You are out of the intellectual nourishment that helps you see what you still have to say. Go back to the practices. Read something new. Ask a question you have never asked. Teach something you know to someone who needs it. Let your curiosity lead you somewhere you have never been. And then come back to your creative work. You will be surprised every time by what is waiting there for you. The growing creator always has something to say because they never stop learning. Your mind is not a tool. It is a treasure. Treat it with the same care and love and attention that you give to the things and people you value most. Feed it generously. Challenge it regularly. Rest it deliberately. And trust it, because your intellectual dimension, when alive and nourished, will always find the way to the next idea, the next creation, the next level of your creative evolution. In episode 5, we go into the heart, into the social dimension, into the extraordinary power of human connection as creative fuel. You are not made to create alone. Come find out why. With love, Gladys. Thank you for spending this moment with me today. If this conversation moved you, share it. Not because I need the numbers, but because somewhere in your world there is a person who needs to hear exactly what you just heard. Be the reason they find it. And come find me at Smart Investor Leader, where we continue this journey together. Every dimension, every day, every version of you that is still becoming. See you there at www.smartinvestorleader.com.